Well, I think there is increasingly an alliance between Silicon Valley and the state, and the alliance works in such a manner that Silicon Valley promises to come and fix many of the structural crises that have beset democratic capitalism, and they promise to do that by essentially collecting more and more data and putting it to good use, as they think. The state is quite complicit in this because they also don't have really many other options. They can continue borrowing more and more money, or they can be inviting companies to privatize the data and do something with it. So it's a very dark alliance that I think can only be tackled by a structural change in how politics is made. I do not expect the mainstream political parties to be capable to handle this issue for the sole reason that they themselves serve different parts of the same alliance. They're either deeply embedded with the state because they run it, or they're deeply embedded with the private sector in Silicon Valley. So the only hope there would lie with new kind of populist citizen-based movements that might actually come in and disrupt the status quo both technologically and start bringing questions and issues of sovereignty back on the agenda, and who can actually articulate a vision that will not default to the same kind of more privatization equals more efficiency logic according to which governments have run in the last few decades. Well, I think that we have to understand that, ultimately those offers and those solicitations to use the services, they do not happen in a vacuum. That it's not as if you wake up one day and the rest of your life, the debts you have to your bank, or your inability to find an employment, or the fact that you cannot afford your house, they're not disconnected from the digital platforms that surround us. Airbnb and its presence in many European cities has quite something to do with the availability of cheap housing that's available for rent. So we have to go beyond this instrumentalist conception of many of those tools and platforms as just mere enablers, as just mechanisms, because in order to function, they require these giant corporations that come in and run their business in a certain manner. And my argument is that in doing so, in offering us all of those fantastic, cheap and efficient services, they transform the rest of our society in a way that makes our life much worse by increasing inequality, by making housing less available, by turning everything into commodity, by privatizing everything and so forth.